Hi team, how we doing? So today on Smoking Still Garage, we're going to check out what this 15 Nm direct drive wheel from Cammus is like on track. So let's get on with it. Roll it. So although Cammus have sent me this wheelbase for review, these are my thoughts and my thoughts only that you will hear. I have got no affiliations whatsoever with Cammus. So you can rest assured you're getting the full story from me as always. Right, let's crack on. All right, so let's get out on track and see how this Cammus wheelbase goes. So I've chosen Road Atlanta for today. The reason being, I think the track's quite good for testing out steering. It's undulating track. There's a lot of uphill, downhill braking zones. It's got big curbs. And then really good chicane, 2 corners from the end, so you've got a nice transition from left to right as well. So, Road Atlanta, also, I happen to really like the track, so that makes it quite easy to choose. So, let's get out there, see what we do. So, a couple of things to say. I've been driving with this wheel for a couple of days now, just messing around. And overall, I was very, very surprised with the feedback I got from it, from the feeling straight out of the box, to be fair. It was a case of plugging it in, literally plug and play, plug the USB in, power it up, get the app installed, which was not too bad, quite easy to find. Yeah, once we got all that done, we were off and away, and had to do the calibration in iRacing, and then that was it, straight out on track. And I will say, out of the box, with just the basic settings, that you get out of the box, it went really, really well, and I was managing to lap within a couple of attempts of the VRS straight away. Now, I've been messing around with the settings. They do give, they work. When you make changes, you can feel it. They're not just fake settings like you get in some cheap equipment. And I was quite impressed with just how much you're able to change the feeling of this wheel completely, like day and night. So the way I've got it set at the moment is I'm running the actual base itself at full, so 100% of the power. So I'm using all the 15 Nm it can produce, and then just tuning it down with the black box for the FFB and iRacing. So I think at the moment I've got it for the 992. I've got it for about 25 Nm in iRacing. So just below clipping, tiny bit if you really hit the curbs hard. Now, the base itself gives really good feedback. It's probably just a little bit lacking on the finer details, so the understeer and the very, very fine detail of it. You can just, where I think I could feel it with the VRS, I'm maybe just not picking up on it with this wheel. Now, that's not to say that it can't do it. It's just that at this moment in time, I haven't got the settings quite where I want them. I think a couple more days, and I could get it there, and we might be able to just retrieve a bit of that understeer feeling. But over the curbs, it's really good. Let's say I'm running at full power, so it's nice. It's obviously 5 Nm less than the VRS, but it's very manageable. You get a really good, you can see it, pulling my hands around. I'm not getting a workout, but I definitely know what's going on, and I don't think I'd get tired out during a race with it. I wouldn't suffer from fatigue, so that's all good. I'd say where I'm struggling at the moment is just for that bit of feeling I want, the bit of weight under braking, and that's the only part I'm lacking. I can hear the wheels locking, but I can't feel it. I'm sure I used to be able to feel it with a VRS. I could just feel the wheel just tugging ever so slightly on my hand, and I just don't get that with this one. It's not to say it isn't quick, and I say I'm pretty sure I can get it there. So my biggest bugbear with this wheel is the light for the power switch. It is like a third sun. down there, and it's just burning into my retinas. Now, obviously, today I've got all the studio lights on, and my room's pretty bright. Well, normally when I drive in this room, it's at night, and I tend to drive with just the screens on and no other background lights on, so that will drive me nuts. It's already driving me nuts at the moment, so I think that could be got rid of. I'm not a fan of those buttons overall. They have no value for me, being on the wheelbase. There's no way, like right now, I'm taking my hand off this wheel to go and fumble around for a button or a decoder. It's just dangerous. I just feel like this shifter's gonna chop my hand off. And I was trying to think about the pros of having it, and maybe, you know, if people just want to buy the base, and then they can go and just bolt a steering wheel to the base. But then you've got no paddle shifters either, so you're really going to need to buy a wheelbase. And if you buy a wheelbase, chances are it's coming with quite a few buttons on, like my Simline. So they just don't do it for me. I get it, but I think they could have used the budget they spent on the buttons and the encoders, and they could have possibly put it somewhere else. So overall, I think it's a really good wheel. I'm going to keep it a little longer than what I was planning, because I quite like it, and I want to have a really good play, and I want to do a long-term test on it. I'm very keen to see. I haven't jumped into a session yet online, a public session. I need to jump into a server and just see how it performs, because I don't know if you guys have been around and you've seen the Simagic videos I did way back. I used to get a bit of a problem with the Simagic where testing like this, it was fine. I could get it set up how I wanted, and then as soon as I jumped into a server, the wheel lost 20-30% of its feeling. It was very weird. And I've never had that problem with a VRS, so I'm keen to see if this does. I honestly, at the moment, I don't think it will. I think it's that good. So, I'll shut up. We'll try and get a hot lap in. We'll see how it goes.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
So let's have a look through the software. So opens up, it's quite nice, very pleasing on the eye. Like the colors, yeah, looks good. So start off, we've got obviously the software is compatible with the wheel and the pedals and handbrake. I've only got the base on, so that is all we're finding right now. Now the hardest thing is getting it discovered. I say I haven't figured out the process of doing that. Whether you need to put the software on and then turn the wheel on, or turn the wheel on first and then the software, because whatever I do, it just seems to be a faff every time. But once you've got it hooked up, you're good to go. So what I do like about this is it automatically updates as well, which is really cool. So you've got a firmware assistant, you can click on that, and then I found as soon as it was going, it just kept auto updating on its own. What I hate about VRS is you have to really search for the updates, and they don't tell you when they're out. This one looks like it's automatic, and it gives you a signal that the updates are there, which is really cool. So you've got your steering wheel angle, so set at 900. I've got it running at 100%, effects ratio up to 100, and then basically we just knock it up and down via the FFB on iRacing to reduce clipping. Natural damper ended up with at 50, and then these were the two here, so I ended up at 16% for friction and inertia. Now, if you go up to the little question mark, it tells you what everything is and what it does, which is really cool. And the description, unlike some other Chinese wheels, is very good. And I found it quite easy to understand what they were meaning by friction and inertia and the idle spring. So that helped me out a lot. I was really impressed with that. Again, this one's pretty intuitive. So yeah, they've got really good description and everything just works. And it works very finely. You can make a couple of percent change and you'll feel it in the wheel straight away. You can also do these changes on the fly. Now, same as with most wheels, you can save your profiles and then you can load them on, which is, yeah, nice and helpful. So it's got test and set as well, so you can do the calibration. So you set it to 900. I have found a few times I've got in the car and the wheel is gone out of calibration, end up with the wheel upside down like this. And I don't know why that's happening. Never happens to me with the VRS. So it's not something I'm doing. I'm doing exactly the same as what I do with the VRS. But this is obviously a little Cammus tweak, bit of personality showing through. So it does go out of calibration quite a bit. I've had it happen about 4 or 5 times in 2 days. So it's just a case of wrenching the wheel back over and zeroing it. And then off you go again. So as I say, the updates, really good. That's all seems to be automatic. What I will say about this software is the only bugbear is you can't minimize it. You can't. This is the size that it's on your screen. There is nothing you can do to make it bigger or smaller by dragging it. If you go really big, it goes huge. And then, yeah, you can move it, which is pretty cool. So you click on that and then you can drag it anywhere. But then to get out of it, you've got to press escape. So if you've got a small screen, like a full screen, mine's on the floor. This is a bit of a pain because it's so big. I want to fit a few apps on there. So you start getting a really busy screen. And yeah, it's just a bit of a pain in the butt. I'd like to be able to reduce it down a little bit so I can just grab it when I need to. But there we go. Tiny bugbears. Other than that, all looks good. I'm really liking it. Looks very professional. So, final thoughts on the Cammus. I was amazed. I thought this was going to be a real POS. I'm being honest, and it's blown me away. I kind of knew when I got it out of the box. You can see there is quality in this wheelbase, in the way it's produced, in the way it's fabricated, and the finish. It's got some quality about it, and the weight. It's so heavy, 11.5 kilos. You know what they say about weight?
It's heavy, isn't it?
Heavy is good. Heavy is reliable. If it doesn't work, you can always hit him with it.
So, yeah, I was really keen to get it on the rig. Now, the biggest bugbear was they didn't send me through the bracket to mount it, which was, I asked for it. I didn't get it. It's a shame. It cost me a couple of days of fanning around trying to get it bolted on. So I've actually bolted my QR1 quick release to it. I've made some iffy brackets to bolt it to my rig. It's not the best. Now, these buttons on the base, I don't like them. I said that before. Another reason I don't like them is if you're running triple 27-inch monitors or a super wide, you actually want the monitor as close to you as possible, and the perfect position is for the monitor to be between the wheelbase itself and your steering wheel, and drop it right down on top of that spindle, just so the bottom of the monitor's near enough touching the spindle, and that'll give you pretty decent field of vision. If you've got those buttons there, you can't do that. And you've probably seen, probably got people commented already, oh, you've got your screens too high. Well, it's not that. It's I couldn't put them any lower because there's switches and buttons on the wheelbase. So if you've got your screens down, you're not going to be able to get to those buttons anyway. I just don't see the point in them. I've tried a couple of times to reach down and stab a button in the middle, and it just feels like this carbon fiber shifter paddle is going to chop my wrist off. I'm going to now end up in a bit of strife. So yeah, they're just not for me. I honestly think Cammus should get rid of them, and it's only a few dollars they're saving, but put that somewhere else. Maybe put it into, I don't know, the software or the app. Now they have got the app. My old man phone out. So the app's pretty good. I did use it a couple of times. My only bugbear with the app, I'll show it to you. There it is. So it's on the phone. It does work. My only bugbear is if you've got the app open and you've got the software open on your computer, when you make a change on the app, it doesn't show on the screen of your PC. So I'm not really sure if you're supposed to just run the mobile phone app on its own and not open up on the computer, or what's going on there. I need a few more days to have a play around in that. So I will have a mess around, and we'll try and figure it out and see how it's going. I've seen a few comments about the app on their Discord channel, so maybe it's new. It's just ironing out some bugs, I don't know. For me, the software works on the PC, so I'd be happy with that. I could see value in the app that I could have my phone there, down by my keyboard, and in the middle of a race I could make an adjustment to the steering if I needed. But to be fair, how many times, if your steering's set up, it's set up. You shouldn't be needing to adjust it in the middle of the race. But it would make it quite handy to quickly set it up. So, if you've got it to hand, instead of having to reach for your mouse and fanny around, you could just make an adjustment on your phone next to your keyboard. I suppose that would be quite cool. But like I say, I haven't really used it. But yeah, I will do. We'll do a short video about the app. So overall, I think from what I've seen, it's well worth $499. It's good value for money. It works. It's got some performance. The software is really good. I say there's two major bugbears, which are the switches, the lights. That's one bugbear, by the way, and the other bugbear is getting the software to connect with the wheel. Now the app, I just connected it there, and it connected straight away with the wheel. The software and the wheel, for some reason, maybe it's just my computer, they don't like each other a lot at the moment. So there we go. Cammus 15 Newton meter direct drive. Go out and buy it. I've popped a link down below in the description for it. Now, I'm not affiliated to Cammus in any way, but they have done you a reduced price. I think it's 10% off if you go down in the link I've supplied you below. When you check out, just use Smoking Steel as a checkout code, and you should get some money off. If it doesn't work, let me know and I'll get in touch with them. But there we go. Cammus 15 Newton meter direct drive. It's pretty good. Staying on the rig for a bit. My name's Gavin Halls. This is Smoking Steel Garage. Hope you enjoyed watching. We'll see you again soon. Cheers.